Hey guys, what we've got going on across the United States right now is one of the strangest weather setups I've seen in a while. We're looking at a spring heat wave that's about to build in by the middle of next week. But with that warmer air also comes the return of significant severe weather threats, especially as we head into the middle and latter part of May. We're talking the Great Plains, the Ohio Valley, even parts of the Midwest could be right back in the action. So, in today's video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about what's coming and what could impact your area over the next couple of weeks. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Let's start with what's happening right now across the country. We've got a low-pressure system spinning over Missouri and Arkansas today, and that's already triggering some scattered severe weather from Kentucky and Tennessee stretching down into the Dixie Valley. Meanwhile, we've got widespread showers and storms firing up across the Gulf Coast, including South Texas. Now, tomorrow, things shift a bit. We're expecting a new low-pressure system to form near the northeastern Gulf, just off the coast of Florida. And that's going to bring more severe weather and the risk of flooding rainfall across parts of the southeast as we head into the weekend. If you're out in the Great Plains or the Midwest, things have been relatively calm lately. But don't get too comfortable, because I'm starting to get concerned about what's coming by the middle and end of next week. We could see a much more active pattern develop, and that's the kind of setup that really favors severe weather outbreaks in May. So, let's talk a little more about this overall pattern. Up until recently, we've been under an omega block, which is basically a big high-pressure system that kind of locks the weather in place. But that block is breaking down. Now, we've got high pressure sitting over the southwest and a persistent low sitting over Missouri and Arkansas, which is still causing some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Looking into the weekend, that high pressure out west is expected to stay dominant, which should help suppress any big severe weather events in the central part of the country for a few more days. But while the central U.S. stays fairly quiet, that low over the Gulf will keep things active along the southeast and the east coast with more chances for rain and isolated storms. Now, by early next week, that Gulf low will start to weaken as it tracks toward the Ohio Valley. It's still going to bring some scattered showers and cooler temperatures, but the real story starts to build by the middle of next week. That's when we're watching a potential storm system take shape along the west coast. And anytime we get those May systems crossing over the Rockies, that's when we have to be on alert, because they can be big-time severe weather producers. Around May 14th and 15th, the GFS model is showing one of these systems moving out of the Rockies and into the northern plains. Now, here's the thing, we don't always get severe weather from systems that track this far north unless a few specific ingredients come together. We'd need a strong surge of moisture from the south, and we'd need to avoid what's known as a cap, that's a temperature inversion in the lower atmosphere that stops storms from forming. So it's not a sure thing, but the potential is definitely there. Even if this particular storm doesn't go gangbusters, the bigger concern is what follows. The jet stream is expected to get way more active as we go deeper into May, and the models are all showing that more storm systems could develop and sweep across the country. If they come off the Rockies in just the right way, say through Colorado or Wyoming into the Central Plains, those are classic setups for severe weather in May. So we really need to keep an eye on the middle and end of this month. Most of the models and ensemble guidance are pointing to a more meridional jet stream developing, which just means more north-south movement and better chances for storm development that could support multiple rounds of active weather, and some of that could turn severe. To simplify this, let's walk through what the radar might look like over the next week or two. Starting with Friday and Saturday, the East Coast stays active. We'll likely see a low develop near the Gulf and another system moving through the northeast with heavy rain, but I'm not expecting any severe weather up there. By Saturday night into Sunday, activity stays concentrated along the Gulf Coast states. High pressure builds into the Great Lakes, keeping things dry from Texas up into the northeast. Then, by Monday and Tuesday, that low starts lifting north and turns into more of a broad system with gusty winds, some isolated severe weather and more heavy rain. By late Tuesday into Wednesday, so around the 13th and 14th, this storm system moves over the Rockies and might trigger severe weather. But right now, that's a big question mark. If storms do fire up, I think the northern plains will see more scattered activity, while the central and southern plains will be under a conditional threat. It's one of those setups where all hazards would be possible: tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, but it depends on whether storms even develop in the first place. That northern track just isn't ideal for May. Still, even if next Wednesday isn't a huge outbreak day, I think we're looking at gusty winds and at least some isolated to scattered severe weather continuing into Thursday and Friday. By next weekend, things get even more uncertain, but the long-range signals continue pointing to a very active pattern across most of the U.S. heading into the second half of May. So, definitely stay weather aware. I'll be watching everything closely and keeping you updated every step of the way. We'll probably have a new video every other day as we track this evolving pattern, especially if that severe weather threat starts to come into better focus. Rainfall-wise, the East Coast is going to be getting a whole lot over the next 7 days. We're talking 4 to 8 inches in some spots, especially in those yellow and orange areas. And Florida, you guys need it badly. Parts of the state are dealing with the worst drought in over 20 years, especially around Fort Myers, where they're nearly 11 inches below normal. So this is a much-needed soaking. Now, let's talk temperatures. Over the next several days, we're looking at below average temps for the East Coast and the Southern Plains, while it stays warmer and drier in the Northern Plains. But that warm air is going to start spreading next week, building across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and even the Rockies. By the middle of the week, I think just about everyone east of the Rockies is going to be feeling the heat. Some spots could run 10 to 25 degrees above normal, especially across the Central and Southern Plains. On the flip side, colder air starts spilling into the West Coast and the Rockies by midweek as that low moves in. But overall, from May 15th through the 17th, expect above average warmth to dominate east of the Rockies, and that heat could definitely help fuel more severe weather. So, yeah, this weather pattern has a lot of energy. We've seen this type of setup before, like back in late April, and it led to multiple severe weather events. The Climate Prediction Center agrees with what I'm seeing: cooler conditions west of the plains, warmer and wetter east of them. And that could set the stage for some bigger storms if the right ingredients come together. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center has only a marginal risk for severe weather on Friday along the Gulf Coast up into the Mid-Atlantic, maybe some isolated damaging winds and hail. Saturday's risk looks even lower, but I wouldn't be surprised if it expands a bit across Georgia and southern Alabama. So enjoy the quiet while we have it, because I really do think things are about to ramp up big time as we head into the second half of May. So, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified as soon as I upload again. Stay safe, stay weather aware, and I'll see you in the next one.